Hey everyone, Once Bitten here at the Battle Report. So I never seem to play against Wood Elves, and here I am the second game in a row playing Wood Elves. The guy I'm going against is a very, very good, very experienced player. He's won a lot of GTs. He actually was in the same tournament I just went to, but I just didn't play him. But I think he took third overall with a very similar Wood Elf list. And the problem is this list is custom designed to counter high armor save cavalry. Which just means it's a bad matchup for my Bretonnian list, which means I'm going to lose the game, and my goal is to try to make it as minimal a loss as possible. We're in the beginning stages of preparing lists for the Grail Quest tournament held in Durham, North Carolina, the weekend of November 8th. So it's 2,500 points. You can bring up to 350 points in monsters from the Monsters Arcanum or the Storm of Magic book. So if you see weird things in our list, that's why. So on the far right, he has an eagle. He has a unit of Wildwood Rangers, I believe. They're the great weapon, strength 5 dudes with the Razor Standard, so that -3 to armor save. So that is an absolute nightmare for my knights. The only good news is they're not white lions, so they're not stubborn. So if I can get maybe 2 or 3 lances in there, I should be able to handle them. But for point, yeah, I need to stay away from that unit. Got a unit of Glade Guard with the Flaming Arrows. Then he has his first unit of Glade Guard with the Arcane Bodkins, which is -3 to your armor save. In the woods, he has a unit of War Dancers, and in with them 3 characters. The Spellweaver, Rock and Lore of Shadow, and the Moonstone, which means he can hop around in forest, from forest to forest. He's got a Shadow Dancer, which is apparently pretty good in combat, and a Waystalker with the Bow of Lauren. So this dude can snipe out characters at a ballistic skill 7. 2 shots, strength 4. Pretty nasty. Another Arcane Bodkins Glade Guard, some Wild Riders, then some more Arcane Bodkins Glade Guard with his level 1 beasts. Then if you look to the left of that, he's got a unit of 3 Fen Beasts. I think he's getting that from the Monsters Arcanum, but these guys are a fantastic anvil, especially for their points. They're toughness 5 with the 4-up regen, 4 wounds each, and they're unbreakable. And that's what makes them killer, because you have to do 12 wounds, and if you don't have flaming, that means on average you have to do 24 wounds to get past his regen to kill him outright, or they will hold up a unit forever, and that is a nightmare for knights. The dragon-looking thing is another eagle. He's got a unit of I'm going to say Way Watchers. The names in this book are too similar. I might get confused. But the problem with these guys, of course, not only do they scout, more importantly, when they shoot, they can choose to do a double shot, or they can choose to ignore armor saves. And in the corner, because I was playing this game, strategically speaking, I was playing it very lightheartedly, so it was really sloppy. So I allowed him room for him to scout behind my lines. Yeah, it was dumb. So in my list, I have a Scouting Sabertusk in the bottom right-hand corner of this being proxied. Then I've got 4 units of Knights. So this is what I think is the Bretonnian version of a question list, using Malorian's terms. So what I'm saying is I can move very, very quickly and hit hard and should be able to pick my targets and jump on my opponents. So I have no shooting. I don't have much in way of magic. My combat is okay, but I'm really trying to win through mobility and picking my fights. So yeah, we'll see if it can pose a question or not. What I decided to do is every knight unit has a different banner. So 3 Knight of the Realm units, I've from left to right, Flaming, Standard of Discipline, and the Banner of Swiftness. Then I have a Knights Errant unit with the Errantry banner. Then I have a bunch of characters. So the unit on the left has a Paladin. This guy is made to go into any kind of unit with characters in it, especially multiple characters. So he's got the Gauntlet of the Duel, so you can't refuse challenges, and the Sword of Anti-Heroes. So if you bring a Death Star against this guy, I'm going to charge him in solo, and he's just going to kill stuff. 1-up armor save. Then, and probably what has become my main unit, Standard of Discipline, has my General, my Prophetess, and my BSB. The BSB is a 1-up rerollable. The Lord has a different build than I normally take, but he has the Virtue of Heroism with the Heartwood Lance, which is the combo I like. And then I've got a level 4 with Beasts and this Dispel Scroll. And one thing I can say now is I just really don't like taking spellcasters in with knights anymore. I just don't like it because inevitably you're going to miscast at some point, even if you're not throwing a lot of dice at stuff. And almost any miscast result just devastates a unit. I mean, a 1 through 4 is a large template strength 10. A 5 or 6 is a small template strength 10. A 7, everyone in base contact, which is 8 high strength hits. I mean, they're really, they're just all bad. All bad. I'm tempted to take a bunker of cheap men-at-arms or archers and just put her behind my lines or something. Anyway, in the other Knight of the Realm unit, I have 2 paladins. One has the Virtue of the Impetuous Knight, so that unit is movement 9, and then with him they add d6 to the first charge, so they can charge out pretty far. And then I finally have a cheap paladin. Then to the right of them, I have some fast cav, and on the far right, that giant-looking model is, oh, what is he? A giant spined chaos beast, or giant chaos spine beast, or something like that. So as I've been doing lately, I'm going to go through the battle report. Then at the end, I'm going to offer just a few of my lessons learned. So this is after Vanguard. You can see my fast cav moved up. His Wild Riders moved up, and this is where I need to be a lot more careful with my deployment, because he gets to Vanguard, and then we both know he's going to go first, and this is fast cav. So these guys actually deployed at the back line, but they move up 12 inches, and then they can go, I think, 18 inches before I get to go, and they can go right behind my lines. Just ridiculous. I'm just dumb. So anyway, Wood Elves turn 1. He's got his Wild Riders in my flank, which is awful, awful. He starts shooting me. So I vanguarded my fast cav up to where his archers with flaming, which is the one unit of archers he has that probably doesn't pose much of a threat to my knights, actually have something to shoot at. And I was really lucky he only killed 2 fast cav. They failed their panic and landed right there. So it's one thing to play a game not too serious. It's another one to make bonehead move after bonehead move. Other than that, he tried to pick on this leftmost unit. Let's say I started with 12 in a character, so 13 to the down to 9. So we did a total of 4 wounds, and both of us were shaking our head at how many he missed and how many saves I made. He's got 2 units of these Way Watchers. That's 10 shots ignoring armor saves, and I only get a 6-up ward, and I just rolled tons of 6s. So he cuts a unit, not quite in half, but almost cuts a unit in half, and that's with just horrible luck. So I felt that I survived turn 1 as well as I could hope, so we go to Bretonnia in turn 1. If you look on the far right, I bring the Spine Beast over. I don't want him anywhere near those Wildwood Rangers, because if you cause fear or terror, they get 1 extra attack, and that's bad. I should point out, by the way, that my opponent has no Battle Standard Bearer in his list. So that makes some interesting things. I actually was half tempted to declare a charge against his Wildwood Rangers, just hoping to cause a terror test. Anyway, I thought I'd take a chance, and I charged the Saber Tusk at his Wildwood Rangers, and I put him on the far right, hoping that if I get just insanely lucky and he wins, they will flee towards his Way Watchers and panic them off the table. So I have a magic phase. I'm going to try to get +1 strength and toughness on the thing, and we'll see. It was really only a 21-point gamble, because the worst that can happen is he kills my guy and reforms, but he doesn't really need much of a reform. He's already in a fantastic position with those guys. Alternatively, I could have just put him up there to redirect them, which probably would have been wise. Otherwise, I moved up as fast as I could. I actually had another plan that I was going to do, but I'm just going to save it for now and talk about it at the end of the report. But really, with the exception of his Rangers on the right, I'm not afraid of him charging me with anything, except for the Fen Beasts on the top left, but they're still pretty far away. I'd love to get into combat with his bunker, but you know, that's easier said than done. Over here, yeah, he just kills the Saber Tusk without much trouble. He basically used his scroll to stop +1 strength and toughness. So we go to Wood Elves turn 2. Wild Riders in the flank of the depleted Knight of the Realm unit. That is not good. I've never played against these guys, but I've heard about them, and that is not a good thing. Flies his 2 eagles up to redirect my Knight unit. So I mean, duh, of course he was going to do that. And otherwise, everything is as you can see it. Yeah, this is really, really bad, in case you're wondering. That is not how you want to play Bretonnia. There's the redirection. And after shooting, so when he shoots at my knights who are being blocked, a lot of his shots, not all of them, but a lot of them I'm getting a cover save because of those eagles. He shoots at the knights errant on the right. They're down from 12 down to 9. And my general's unit, they started at 15 total models, and they're down to, what, 11? And again, we're both looking at that. We're looking at the dice roll saying he is so unlucky. His rolls are awful, and my rolls are crazy. I'm rolling 6s. I need a 5-up armor, and a 6-up ward, and I'm just rolling them left and right. It scares me that if what would have happened in this game already if dice had been average. I would just have no knights left. I'd have all my units would be down to half. After combat, yeah, so he killed everyone in the unit except the champion and the paladin, which is just awful because if he killed one more wound and killed the champion, the paladin would be able to rally. But because that champion's alive, we're stuck on Snake Eyes. But at least we got away, bounced through the lines. He should have overrun into the flank of my general's unit, but he rolled like a 4. So, I mean, it was a great plan. It should have worked, and this game it's just unreal how bad his dice are and how good mine are. So, Bretonnian turn 2. Yeah, if you look on the right. So if you look on the right, my Knights Errant did not want to charge that Ranger unit. Their only job in life was just to redirect them. And I failed my errantry test because they're at leadership 7, and with the errantry banner they're -2, so they're only on a 5. I'm outside of leadership and reroll, so of course they're going to fail it, and they did. So at least I put them on the right so that if he doesn't kill all my guides and he chases me, at least they're kind of going away from the action. The Paladin with the remaining champion, of course, do not rally. They're behind the Knights Errant. My Giant Chaos Spine Beast comes over. So basically his Wild Riders are going to charge. They're going to, at some point, they're going to stop. If they kill my general's unit, at some point they're going to be chargeable by this guy. So he's just trying to save the day. And I charge his Eagles with both my Night Lances because we need to get rid of the chaff. Yeah, there's that. I'm just groaning. Like, you got to be kidding me. That was just, I mean, I'm only on leadership 5, so I don't know why I'm thinking that. Of course they failed it. There's that. Bring these guys over to shoot. I know that my odds aren't really good here, but if I can kill a couple and force a panic test, they might run off the board. I kill one, so there's that. And I still can't believe this. So we charge in there, Knights Errant against that big horde of Rangers. He goes first. He does not get rerolled to hit, but he is strength 5. So let's see, I'm 75 wide. So for him to be 80 wide plus a corner means he has 5 guys times 3. He's at 15, 16 attacks, hitting on 3s. So he's hitting, roughly should hit 10. He should wound, let's say, 8. And then let's say I should save a couple. He should be down to 6, and then I should save a third of that. So he should do 4 wounds. Which when I looked at it, I thought he should kill a ton of them. I was thinking he might kill all 9. Odds are he should kill 4. Well, he kills 3, which is absolutely huge because I actually unloaded on him. It ended up not mattering, but I did enough to where I won combat by a lot. He was not steadfast. If he had killed one more guy, he would have been steadfast 8. He was not steadfast because we both only had 2 ranks. He failed his roll. I think he needed, at that point, he needed like a 4, and my Knights Errant ran him down. Huge swing in the game. So my opponent not being able to kill much in turns 1 and 2 of shooting, and then losing his horde of Rangers to my lowly Knights Errant, I really couldn't ask for any better luck in this game so far. After combat, so this is good and bad. The good news is we, of course, killed both Eagles. The bad news is we, I don't know if it's bad or not. Anyway, when we overran, we went much farther than you normally would expect to. We rolled really high for it. And another picture in case you missed the last one. And we go to Wood Elves turn 3. So one thing that I knew about and I wasn't thinking about was that his guy with the Moonstone can jump around forests, and all I had to do was keep a unit in the forest. And I think a much better purpose of my fast cav, instead of going over and hoping for this impossible win against the scouts in the bottom left, is just to keep them in the forest so that his general couldn't just pop away. Because if I'd kept my fast cav in the forest, there's only so much he could move with his general's unit, and he wasn't going to be able to avoid me very long. So, dumb. Meanwhile, his Wild Riders charged the rear of my general's unit, and the Fen Beasts charged the flank of that unit, and that's rough. The only thing I have going for me is I can make way with my general, my BSB, and my champions touching the Fen Beast. So the Fen Beast might kill my champion. They're probably not going to hurt the BSB with his 1-up rerollable. They might hurt the general, but the general has heroic killing blow. He has got the best chance of killing those guys. You do not get regen against any kind of killing blow, and all I have to do is roll 6s, and I can just remove models left and right. I got Curse of Honor here off on his Wild Rider, so he's going to not do quite as many hits to me. And I was hoping for more. He should have lost a third of the unit when he charged. I think out of 6, he probably failed 2, and then he made 1 ward save, so I think odds worked out with that. I just needed him to have fewer guys there. He's got 5, so that's just really scary. The only good news is, unless he gets really lucky, I should be steadfast. And of course, these guys kill my fast cav, so that was just not well played on my part. His guy who can snipe shoots at this unit trying to kill one of my paladins, the more expensive of the two, the guy with the impetuous knight virtue, and can only do 1 wound, even though I want to say this guy as well is ignoring armor saves. It's just crazy. Shoots the knight errant. He kills enough to force a panic, but I pass my leadership 7 panic test. So that's nice. After combat, it looks like that. So I got snuck 1 heroic killing blow through. I can't complain about that. He actually didn't do too many wounds to me. I only killed 2 Wild Riders. I was hoping to kill more. But anyway, all said and done, it looks like this. Not ideal, but at least I've got heroic killing blow Lord against his Fen Beasts. And now I've got my BSB, who he's not worried about those Wild Riders. And I think he has the best chance of doing some wounds to them. So I really can't complain about how that worked out. Go to Bretonnia turn 3. Yeah, so like you can see his general's unit in this woods here. I mean, what an epic fail. That's just points are going to be impossible to get now. So I charge 1 Glade Guard unit in the flank. And this picture shows the Knights Errant units sitting still. I actually, like during the magic phase or something, my opponent reminded me of that, and he allowed me. I just reformed him. Yeah, the Giant Spine Chaos Beast, what I wanted to do was turn him around and threaten his general's unit in the woods, but he's frenzied and he failed his frenzy test against the scouts that I need 11 to catch. They passed their so if they had failed their terror test, that'd be nice, they'd run off the board, but they passed their terror test, and then of course I failed it. I needed to roll 11, and he just totally neutered him as a threat. Yeah, that was lame. After combat here, so one big mistake I made in the magic phase, I got to a point where he had stopped most of the important stuff. I had some dice left, and so I've just put the impenetrable pelt, and I put it on my BSB for some reason. My BSB has a 1-up rerollable. Why the hell does he need Pan's impenetrable pelt? What I should have done is put it on my prophetess, thinking, I don't know, 1 move ahead when maybe the Wild Riders might kill enough knights to expose her to their threat. But no, she's totally unprotected, probably going to die next round of combat. My general kills another Fen Beast, but there's still 1 there, and the BSB couldn't do any wounds to those Wild Riders. So that is not going well. The Knights easily killed the Glade Guard. They didn't break, they just died, and they reformed. So this game is going as well as I could possibly hope. So if I can mop up points here on the left, we might still have a chance to do something here. Wood Elves turn 4. Let's see, if you look in the top middle, there's a unit of Glade Guard. Basically, when I won combat in the top middle, those guys failed their panic test and ran, and on Wood Elves turn 4, they did not rally. They're still fleeing. Otherwise, there's of course that's a Venom Thicket that those Glade Guard are in, so he's going to just sit there, shoot at my my Knights. The problem is, if you look at the top middle, if he forces a panic test in those Knights, I'm outside of rerolls, so they, you know, I have 1 bad roll and they're off the table. And here he backs his scouts up to where, again, I'm going to be forced to take a frenzy test, but I'm going to have to roll an 11 or better to actually make the charge. But it's funny, because every time I do, he has to take a terror test. We're both leadership 8. He passes every single one. I fail every single one. That's okay. Dice are all on my side this game, but that's one little thing. During the shooting phase, he does 0 wounds to me. 0 wounds. He had to be really. I mean, I don't know if he wasn't really well to hit or to wound, and then I was just making ward saves left and right. At this time, I actually changed dice. I was kind of feeling bad. I changed. It was crazy. Yeah. After combat, yeah, this didn't go well at all. Because I'm an idiot, my prophetess died. She could have had +3 toughness. Oh, yeah. My lord wasn't able to get a third turn in a row of heroic killing blow. And again, my BSB couldn't do any wounds to the Wildwood Riders. And it looks like that. So that is not good. Bretonnian turn 4. The giant Chaos Spine Beast failed his terror test. Charged the Way Watchers. They passed their terror test. And, of course, I failed the charge. My Knights Errant charged the unit of Fleeing Glade Guard. Of course, they fled. They didn't roll very far. I caught them and reformed to face his general's unit in the woods, and he has his sniping character out of the unit now. And at the very top, my Knights charged the Glade Guard in the woods. And I'd have to take Dangerous Terrain, of course. I lose a few to that. And after combat, yeah, we kill those guys to a man, and I don't overrun because this just means more Dangerous Terrain tests I'm going to have to take. Yeah, my general's unit just got obliterated, and of course I didn't kill the Fen Beast, and I didn't kill any Wild Riders. He got Occam's Mind Razor off. That's how that happened, by the way. So he got Occam's off, and just on his turn, which is why his turn went so well. So maybe that toughness buff wouldn't have mattered so much. And this turn, of course, it was still up, and so he slaughtered the unit. And now, of course, his turn is next, so he's easily going to catch my general and the remaining champion and kill them. Not good. So the Knights Errant that had reformed to threaten his general got charged in the rear by that Fen Beast because I wasn't thinking even one move ahead. Yeah, otherwise his units at the top left are staying still so they can shoot at my unit of Knights in the woods. His Wild Riders in the top right catch my general, and his Way Watchers in the bottom left are all the way at the board edge, forced me to take a frenzy test. His Way Stalker finally snipes out a character. He's been shooting all game and just failing. He finally got the second wound off on this guy. Yeah, I want to go back up one. Yeah, so he shoots at him with these guys and rolls miserably and only kills a couple. I think that forced a panic test and I passed it. And yeah, so he has Withering off on my Spine Beast. So instead of toughness 5, I'm toughness 2. So he's shooting at me and actually only does 1 wound. Regen helped here. And yeah, so he's taken 2 wounds. The Fen Beast, he wins combat. I reform. Whatever happened, it ended up being like this. Bretonnian turn 5. I fail my frenzy test. At this point, it's too late to go after the woods, so I may not have even taken the frenzy test. But he passes his terror test, of course. Does a stand and shoot, does another wound to me, and now I don't think I need an 11. Whatever it was, I failed the test again. These Knights, after taking Dangerous Terrain, charging out of the woods, and taking a stand and shoot, are down to only a Paladin and 2 Knights left. I'm hoping that's enough. I'm hoping it's enough just to kill his level 1 and just grind out. I think if I can just, I don't know. I just hoping I can grind it out in combat. He's going to be steadfast. And after combat, it looks like this. Yeah, I could do anything to the Fen Beast. No, that's not after combat. That's before combat. Yeah, because after combat, it looks like this. So he actually does a wound to a Knight. I kill his level 1, but otherwise just fail miserably. And we actually lose combat and get away. So, Wood Elves turn 6. His Wild Riders charge the flank of my Knights Errant. Going to finish them off. Yeah, those Wild Riders are just man of the match this game. Because I'm toughness 2, he's shooting at me with everything he has, and he gets my guy down to 1 wound remaining. And after combat, or after shooting, he shoots the champion, which is nice. Actually, it does 1 wound to the character, but my character actually has a chance to rally now. And after combat, the Knights are destroyed. There's no surprise there. Tony turns 6. I decide not to charge the Giant Chaos Spine Beast because I'm still... I think he got the spell off again, but instead of being toughness 2, I think I'm toughness 4, but I'm worried that it's going to be too easy for him to kill my guy. And I don't know. I probably should have, but there were so few points for me to gain from him and a lot of points for me. So I decided not to charge the Spine Beast. I rallied the character. That's actually all I have left on the board, and it ends up being a 15-5 victory for my opponent. So I've got very conflicted emotions about this game because in some ways, it was a horrible, horrible matchup. And I think my goal was to maybe have like a 12-8 loss. And so 15-5, I can't complain too much about it. The problem is I was insanely lucky many, many times in this game. I mean, there's some things that didn't go my way, but for the most part, I couldn't have hoped for better luck, and it was still a 15-5 loss. As with most games, I try to think back on it and think, what would I do differently? And there were lots and lots of mistakes. So if you look on the left, number one, there's no reason to allow my opponent to deploy behind my lines. All I had to do was shift my guys over a little bit, maybe take my, well, if you look at number two, my giant chaos spine beast, there's no reason for him to be all the way off in a corner. Just keep him with my lines. I could have put him on the other side. You know, there's no reason to allow him behind my lines or to allow him to, you know, to get his vanguarding fast cav in my flank. That was just idiotic. Three, the fast cav have no business being up there where they can get shot. They should just be all the way on the back line, maybe to the right, making sure that he can't scout behind my lines there. There's just, you know, there's no reason for him to be up that far so that the unit that can't hurt anything but them can hurt them. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Just dumb. Number four, yeah, I think I was so focused on not wanting those guys, not wanting the Wild Riders behind me, that I wasn't thinking enough about charge. All I have to do is stop them from charging. They're frenzied, so I could have parked this guy in front of him and taken him away from the lines. By charging him, it just allowed him to, it was just a waste. It's that dumb move. And five, the one thing I thought, I don't think this is a huge mistake necessarily, but one idea that I toyed with that I don't know how it would have worked. But basically the problem here is, you know, he has two eagles and he's going to bottle me up. So one thought is, what if I took my paladins? I've got 3 paladins outside of the BSB, and I could have even taken the BSB, but take him out of the units so that he can't block everybody, and just just spread my guys out enough that he can block a couple units, but I can charge with paladins, I can charge with the units that aren't blocked, something like that. And so it would have made it easier for him to kill individual characters, but if he did that, I'd be able to charge with my lances. I think the reason I didn't is I felt that he could still block the lances and then shoot the characters, and I would be screwed both ways. But it was one thing that I was thinking about, is using those characters to create, instead of 3 or 4 units, now all of a sudden I have 7 or 8 units, and you just can't block them all. And if I get a character in with his Glade Guard, yeah, he's going to be steadfast, but it's going to be tough for him to wound me, and they can hold him up and they can't shoot me, and then blah blah blah. So anyway, it was a fun game. Interestingly enough, my comp using the Swedish system modified for this monster scenario is a 16, and my opponent's I think was a 15.2. So actually fairly similar comp scores here. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hey everyone, Once Bitten here. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has several functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like the video, you can leave a comment, you can favorite the video. I want you to know that I appreciate it when you do things like that. It feels much more interactive than simply me talking to a screen. So if you're willing to do so, please like, comment, and favorite the videos. Subscribe to the channel if you want, and you certainly are welcome to share this video on your blog or other websites if you are so inclined. Again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.